Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, and yes, my hair is it's very curly mess, but it's okay. I interviewed Zach Schleien. He is from New York. He is the co-founder of very popular and very unique video first dating app called Filter Off. I had a lot of fun recording this because I have never really believed in the success of dating apps out there, especially Tinder and like Bumble. I don't really believe they work, but through talking to Zach, maybe my opinions have changed. Who knows? You're gonna have to watch the episode. So we cover topics like, like dating post-pandemic, how like COVID has really caused a lot of anxiety amongst people, especially millennials who want to find love. And lastly, we spoke about long distance relationships. I think that's a very interesting subject. So guys, without any further ado, let's get into it. On a side note, I hope you enjoy this. If you do, give it a big thumbs up and don't mind my scrunchie. And I hope you learned something from it. So let's go, guys. All right. So thank you for coming on again. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. My name is Zach Schleien. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Filter Off. It's a video speed dating app that's really focused on community.
Yeah. I think we spoke a bit about community last time and how important that actually is. I remember I read an article, or was it a podcast of yours, where you were telling people how community is really important, especially if you suffer from mental health issues, which I've got to say has become very prevalent since COVID has come out, and we're still kind of going through COVID, right? So how do you think the whole dating world has changed with the COVID, issue pandemic?
Yeah, so since COVID, everyone is now getting used to video platforms like Zoom. They're chatting with friends and family and at work. So they're getting really used to video and video first technology. And prior to the pandemic, going on video with a complete stranger would have been a no-no, but now people are super comfortable and they realize just how efficient it is. In terms of your other question around like mental health and during the pandemic, I mean, it's very true. Like rates of depression have obviously increased during the pandemic because we are so isolated, and people are now more than ever just looking to find their community and people who have like-minded interests and values. And that's what Filter Off is all about. It allows you to find or explore your communities and join these virtual speed dating events. So you meet these like-minded individuals video first. So it goes way beyond the swipe. So you're not basing it based off of their profile picture or their bio. You're actually getting to know them for them.
Yeah, wow. Okay. That's really cool. So can you tell us a bit more about Filter Off? But in particular, can you tell us more about how you got into this entire dating scene kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I think I've always been fascinated with online dating, the ability to meet someone romantically outside of your friend circle. And really the impetus behind Filter Off was going on just really bad first dates and using swipe apps, and it would take a ton of time and it was super inefficient. And I realized it was just so much better just hop on a video chat beforehand and get to know them. And we blended that with Filter Off by making a video first, but we add that extra layer of community because it's super important for me to meet like-minded singles, whether it's like in my quote unquote community or people that share common values to my own.
Wow, interesting. Have you yourself found any special lady on there yet?
So I do use that. We have created
Oh, really? That's so cool. That's so cool.
Of course. I think it would be wrong if I didn't use my own app. I built it for myself, actually. Is I really believe in the ability to leverage technology to facilitate human connection. But the beautiful thing with Filter Off is we've created 4 marriages, one of which was just covered in the New York Times. So there has been a number of successes and many that I've never heard about, because you don't always share with the app when you've met your potential significant other. So, but
no,
it's been very good. Yeah.
That's really cool. So do you think online dating is kind of hit and miss, or would you say it's up to how hard you try, or like a matter of timing? Or because I really feel as though it's like you've got people who adore it and then people that can't stand it.
Yeah, I mean, I think online dating is a resource that you could use to connect with people. However, I think what has happened is swipe apps have just led to this this game of almost like hot or not. You're basing everyone based off their bio and profile picture. The reality is not everyone can write a good bio or take a good profile picture, and it's really unfair to a lot of people, and it really does make it difficult for many people to online date effectively or even efficiently. And the beautiful thing about Filter Off, it's video first, it's community based. So it allows you to go on maybe 8 virtual speed dates in the course of 40 minutes. And how many other apps can allow you to go on 8 video speed dates in that quick amount of time?
And not many. And I don't think I've done much online dating. I don't have the time for it. So would you say that that's what kind of makes Filter Off unique from, for example, Tinder or Bumble or Grindr?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is Filter Off cares about creating genuine connection through community. So again, video first, community, and then we also have this like matchmaking service. You could work with your quote unquote matchmaker to find your match that's in your community. So it's really important to us to actually facilitate that sort of connection, having you meet with other singles on video.
That's really cool. Okay. So how has the whole COVID pandemic changed the way people interact with each other?
Well, during the pandemic, online dating was the most popular it's ever been. So I think the stigma is continuing to wane, and people are just looking to connect. I would say they're looking to connect in a very intentional way. It's less about quantity and more about quality. And what you'll see post-pandemic is video still will be the means of online dating before meeting in person, because who wants to get on their first date, meet at that bar, and then literally 2 minutes in realize they don't want to be there? Now you're potentially stuck with of course, it happens to everyone. And if you just jumped on a quick video chat, you would have seen. And that intentional dater will only meet in person when they feel like they've had a connection on video.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about the whole swiping issue. I personally hate to swipe. A person that spends 30 minutes per day swiping left and right and left and right, does that actually affect your brain?
Yeah, I mean, there have been a number of studies done in how the swiping generation actually does lead to definitely anxiety and depression. There was a study on Grindr, and like a statistically significant number of the users do feel depressed after meeting up on Grindr, because it just doesn't lead to something that's meaningful. And you're basing people off of, again, a profile picture and not getting to know them in person. And that's like something that I think is just so awful and so broken with online dating. This industry is so broken. And that's why there is this
need. Really good point.
There's a need just for a new way of online dating. And we really believe, and what people want nowadays for our research is video first, with a very strong emphasis on community.
Okay. So I have a really interesting question for you. I feel as though there are a big number of attractive, successful, and like highly motivated people who are actually still single. Do you think as millennials we've become very, very picky and choosy? And do you think we're too picky?
Well, I don't want to generalize a whole generation of people. I think what it
Mm,
comes down to is um, meeting people is easy. Like you could
yeah,
theoretically go on lots of dates. But I think, especially now more than ever, people want to go on dates where they actually think it may potentially lead to something. Like they're much more
exactly.
intentional during the dating process. So finding the right person, you could arguably say, is actually very difficult. And with the
Agreed.
means of with the means of technology, you have the ability to literally date anywhere, whether it's in your city or potentially country or even anywhere. I mean, you could literally take,
Overseas.
well, especially post pandemic, take a plane ticket and go anywhere. And we've definitely seen a shift from this like really localized dating to definitely a more long distance dating. People just care more about finding the right person, regardless of potentially where they are.
That's very interesting that you pointed that out. But do you think that coming out of this crisis that people will be more inclined to a overseas kind of romance, or what do you think on that?
Yeah, I think you'll first see the propensity of people dating outside their
Mm,
city has increased. In terms of dating, well, of course, it depends on your location, right? If you're in Europe, that's potentially easier than if you're dating from the US and somewhere
well,
overseas.
for
I mean,
you,
there are
yes,
obviously
not for me.
challenges. Exactly. So I think it really just depends on location and also your financial situation and whether you can travel and have the ability to do so on weekends sometimes, right? Some people are
Mm.
working two jobs, so I think it's a case by case basis. So but yeah, you'll definitely see an increased propensity of people being more intentional and just trying to find the right person versus the convenient factor.
So you think it can work? That's what I'm kind of getting here.
I think long distance is definitely difficult,
Mm,
but you have to have like an end goal in mind, right? If you are going to date long distance, you
100%.
have to actually, one of you have to make the move or potentially both to a new location.
Compromise.
Yes, you need something end date, or it'll just continue to linger and that won't be any good.
Go on. So can you tell me more about yourself? So you've got a TEDx talk that I watched this morning. I found it incredible and very inspiring. So can you talk to me about why you decided to do that?
Yeah, sure. So I am very passionate about mental health as well. And I think the common thread that you see is how technology can improve people's lives. So with Filter Off, it's around facilitating genuine connection through
Mm,
community. I run a online mental health community, peer-to-peer support called 18%. So again, how technology can help people from a peer-to-peer perspective.
mm,
And I think mental health does play a large factor in dating as well. So I just think the ability to connect people and have them find their tribe or community is
mm.
so valuable and so not really looked at nowadays. It's more so like these like one-on-one connections, which is essentially what all swipe apps are a
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one connection,
That's
which
true.
I think are just broken.
That's true. Now, what do you think are the biggest problems facing mental issues at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely has been spoken about more so now than ever.
Mm,
And like sharing that you're getting any sort of mental health support is really not stigmatized nearly as much, or if any, compared to just even a few years back. But I think access to care is, again, it depends on the location,
100%.
depends on government policies. But I mean, in the United States, like access to care is can be difficult and costs and
A lot.
So yeah, I mean, it really depends. Also, it impacts um, people differently. So like socioeconomic status can have a role, and your employer, and so there's a number of factors. And I think
Yeah.
when it comes to healthcare, it's probably one of the hardest, if not most difficult industries to disrupt because of all the regulation and
That's
just
really
all
true.
the loopholes to actually make a difference in that industry.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In Australia, we are very fortunate. We have, I don't know if you know Medicare. I think Obama was going to bring out Medicare over there, and it didn't quite end up happening, right? But
So there is like Medicare and Medicaid in the United States, but I think
oh,
like
okay.
for universal, I think
Mm,
is that what you're referring to? Yeah,
yeah.
universal healthcare. Yeah, yeah.
Like I feel as though in Australia we're quite well supported. I'm not gonna lie. We get a lot of government benefits for this. And so, what would be your advice for someone that has, for example, anxiety and they want to bring that up to their partner? How would they explain it?
Yeah, I think if you have any sort of again, I'm not a medical professional, so
Yeah.
everything I say, I want people to take on not like face value, and they should make their own
Yeah.
decisions with their medical professional. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're going through something or have gone through something, and trauma is very real, I mean, uh, like in order to get past this, you need to kind of look at that trauma, and you have to resolve that in some way or another, or
Mm,
that nagging feeling will always remain. Maybe you could push it deeper down, but it's just going to impact your life in other
100%.
areas. So yeah, I think you have to just get to the source of the problem. Again, the type of treatment to get there, that's for you to discuss with a medical provider, but I think it's really important to resolve trauma.
Would you say communi like talking is the key? Like kind of communicating what you're feeling is the key to all this kind of stuff?
So I think again, it's like a case by case basis.
Yeah.
I think, right, the community I run, 18%, it's peer to
Mm,
peer support. There was a study done in Manchester on 18%, and it did show efficacy in how community mental health support did lead to the people in the community to having a more to feeling happier and to feel more connected.
that's
So
really
I think what
good.
it comes thank you. So I think one specific topic, again, it goes back to community. I think feeling connected is so important, and especially during this pandemic, feeling more disconnected than ever, it just leads to anxiety and depression. And I think
So
community
true.
really is the key to meet like-minded people, to have that support.
I agree 100%. Let's go back to what you said before. You said so it's created 4 marriages and 6 engagements. Now, the first couple, I believe it was a jeweler, and so it was a Jewish lady and her now husband. Can you talk to me about their story and how they got married? They got married in 6 months from meeting.
Yeah. This couple met through one of our communities. It was a religious community that hosts filter off virtual speed dating events quite often. And they connected on video and hit it off, and took it from the online experience to then the offline experience, and
Mm,
ended up getting married. And that's something we see time and time again, whether you join one of these communities and you may go on 8 speed dates, and out of those 8 virtual speed dates, 3 are matches. And then I always hear, like, out of those 3, one became my girlfriend a few weeks later. And I think, again, it's bringing people that are part of a like-minded community together, and also giving you the possibility or the opportunity to meet a number of people. And that obviously increases your
no potential.
chances of finding love. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. Um, So would you say that's the biggest success of your like dating app,
Yeah.
that
I mean,
marriage?
I think, yeah, I think, right, you could look at success a number of different ways. You could look at success from like a particular story, like a marriage or a new relationship, but you could also look at a success bringing on a whole new community with 1,000 new singles signing up.
That's true.
You could also look at success when we got covered on the BBC, and it allowed us to become a global brand. Now we're all over the world. We're in the UK, we're in Australia, we're in Canada, and then of course the United States. So there's all these different examples of, I guess, our accomplishments, and many more to come. But yeah, it's been a fun journey.
That's really cool. All right. So for our Greek viewers, as you do know, I am Greek. It's probably not hard to tell by the surname and the first name. So have there been any stories amongst Greek people?
Yeah, so funny you ask. We do have a community called Dating Greek. They are an Instagram handle that has kind of like a Bachelor-esque TV show on Instagram, and they have their viewers, but they always felt that they're all their viewers were viewing, but they weren't connecting together as a community. So they started using Filter Off. They ran a event on Filter Off. There was over 200 matches created in one event. They surveyed.
That's got to be a record, right? Is it?
It was. I would say it was our most successful virtual speed dating event.
Go the Greeks.
The Greeks are they're doing well, and they surveyed their users after, asking if they wanted another event, and 96% said yes. And I don't think you ever get a survey score of a 96% on any survey whatsoever.
No.
So they really enjoyed it, and they ran another one. So they'll be running virtual speeding events on Filter Off quarterly.
Wow, that's actually very impressive. Have you ever gone to Greece?
I have not, but I would love to go.
Okay. Few more questions. What's your advice for all of the single people out there at the moment?
Yeah, my advice, aside from using Filter Off, is to, whether or not you
use it, but
is to transition to video. I think the last thing you want to do is be in this like texting relationship for even, let's say, a week. Like, that's a significant amount of time, or just even brain energy, and you could be using that energy elsewhere. And if you just hop on a video chat, you may quickly realize, wow, this person is exactly or potentially what I'm looking for. Or you may quickly realize this is not someone I want to be engaging with. And it's just, again, a much more efficient way of dating. So hopping on video quickly and not just texting would be a piece of advice that I would give to your listeners.
I think that's a fantastic piece of advice. Fantastic. Is there anything that you want to kind of talk about that I haven't covered yet?
No, I think we kind of covered all the bases. I think what it comes down to is just the value of community,
100%.
and meeting like-minded people, and just through our research, just seeing how community, when it comes to romance, is so important to facilitate this like genuine and romantic connection.
You're absolutely on the money there. Well, on behalf of myself and Greek City Times, I really want to thank you for coming on here. And before I go, can you just tell everyone where to go to get it?
Yep. So if you go to any of your app stores and search Filter Off, or if you go to the website getfilteroff.com, you can log in right there from your computer as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Zach. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, bye.